Myself, Ketan Patel from Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, NAVSARI, Electrical Engineering Department. The subject is Disaster Management, third year, fifth semester, and chapter number 2, Types, Trends, Causes, Consequences, and Control of Disasters. Okay. Syllabus content. What is cyclone? Characteristics of cyclone. Effects of cyclone. Risk reduction measures for cyclones. And cyclone warning system in India, lightning and thunderstorm, and safety measures for public during lightning and thunderstorm. Okay. Now, what is cyclone and what are its characteristics? Cyclone. Cyclone is a simple or powerful spinning storm that contains strong winds and rain. Cyclone is a region of low atmospheric pressures surrounded by high atmospheric pressures, resulting in swirling atmospheric disturbance accompanied by powerful winds blowing in anti-clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere and in the clockwise direction in the southern hemisphere. They occur mainly in the tropical and temperature regions of the world. General characteristic of cyclone is cyclone in India are moderate in nature. Some of the general characteristics of the cyclone are: first is strong winds, second one is exceptional rain, and third one is storm surges. Cyclone are generally accompanied by strong winds which causes a lot of destructions. In some cases, it is accompanied by heavy downpour and also the rise in the sea which intrudes inland, thereby causing floods. 29th October in 1999, super cyclone with wind speed of 260 to 300 km per hour hit the 140 km coast of Orissa with storm surges created in the Bay of Bengal with water level 9 meters higher than normal. The superstorm traveled more than 250 km island within a period of 36 years, ravaged more than 200 lakh hectares of land, devouring trees and vegetations, leaving behind a huge trail of destructions. The violent cyclone was merciless and broke the backbone of Orissa's economy and killed thousands and devastated millions. Now, what is cyclone and its different name? Cyclone is a region of low atmospheric pressures surrounded by high atmospheric pressure, resulting in swirling atmospheric disturbance accompanied by powerful winds blowing in anti-clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere and the clockwise direction in the southern hemisphere. In someone say typhoon, tornado, hurricane. Okay, in center of this is the cyclone's eye. Okay, and in out of surface, this is the low pressures. Okay, in center of eye, and outer surface is high pressures. Okay, in first we discuss about the typhoon and hurricane. Okay, the typhoon and hurricane is a tropical type cyclone. It's low air pressures and counterclockwise rotates. It is a counterwise rotates cloud, and it's absorb very moistures and start in the sea level. Okay? It is not in land. Tropical regions, and it is hot air area. Okay, so and first simple type of cyclone is tropical depressions. Wind speed, tropical depressions wind speed is about 30 to 62 km per hour. Then after tropical storm above 62 km per hour to up to 72 km per hour. Then after hurricane and typhoon above 72 km per hour. First 72 to 75 km per hour in western region. Okay, western region in western region its name is hurricane, and 75 km per hour in eastern region they say cyclones. Okay, cyclones in the starting from the sea or ocean. Okay, and their wind speed is 322 km per hour, and average cyclone area is 160 km wide. The biggest cyclone is 1600 km wide. And cyclone life is 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. While tornado, okay, tornado is starting from the land and its dry conditions is created. Its wind speed is 480 km per hour. Biggest size of the tornado is 4 km wide. Average size of tornado generally 1 km wide. Tornado's life is only 1 to 2 hours or minutes, while cyclone is 2 to 3 weeks. Eye of the tornado or cyclone is a category of 1 to 152 km hour. Is primary cyclone. Okay, it is safe, but in category 2 its range is 176 km per hour. Okay, then category 3 207 km per hour, and this type of cyclone we only save in underground tunnel or underground area. Then category 4 it's dangerous 252 km per hour, and category 5 305 km per hour. It's a speed like a bullet train. Okay, it's also called super cyclone or super cyclonic storm. Okay, so category number 5 is very dangerous cyclones. Its speed is 305 km per hour. Okay, like a bullet train. Okay, so this is the different types of category of cyclone, category 1 to category 5. Okay. In western region it's called hurricane. Okay, and in eastern region we called cyclone. Okay, in area of chain they call typhoon. Okay, and tornado is a land area cyclones. And okay, so these are the different types of name and area wise cyclone is occur. Okay, now what are the effects of cyclones? Okay, startings, the different types of low pressures, okay, high pressures, and in sea there are the larger warm ocean water and created from the sea level. Okay. Some moisture is absorbed and then starting from this eye. Okay, and these are the biggest of cyclones area. Okay, this is outflow. Okay, this is the eye. This is the warm air cools. Okay, rotate to direction, these directions. Okay, these are the subsiding warm air, descending cool air. Okay, this height is 15,000 to 18,000 meters. Okay. In tropical cyclones, first is element of risk: strong winds, torrential rain, and flooding cause a huge loss of life and property. In 1999, the super cyclones of Orissa killed more than 10,000 precious lives, with women and children greatly affected. Apart from loss of life, there is a huge loss of infrastructures like houses built of mud, older buildings with weak walls, bridges, settlements and low-lying areas. In typical adverse effect, first it is sudden, brief onslaught. High winds cause major damage to infrastructure and housing, in particular fragile constructions. They are generally followed by heavy rains and floods in flat coastal area, by storm surges, riding in tidal waves, and inundating the land over long distance of even up to 15 km inland. Physical damage. Structures will be damaged or destroyed by the wind force. Flooding in storm surges, light pitched roofs of most structures, especially the ones fitted onto industrial buildings, will suffer severe damage. Casualties and public health. Caused by flooding and flying elements, contaminations of water supplies may lead to viral outbreaks, diarrhea, and malaria. Water supplies. Ground and pipe water supply may get contaminated by floodway waters. Crops and food supplies. High winds and rains ruin the standing crop and food stock lying in low-lying areas. Plantations type crops such as banana and coconut are extremely vulnerable. Salt from the seawater may get deposited on the agricultural land and increase the salinity. The loss of the crop may lead to acute food storage. And communications. Severe disruptions in the communication links, as the wind may bring down the electricity and communication towers, telephone poles, telephone lines, antennas, and satellite dish and broadcasting services. Transport lines like road and rail may be circulated. Lack of proper communication affects effective distribution of relief materials. So these are the different effects of cyclones. Okay. Now, what are the possible risk reduction measures for cyclone? First is coastal belt plantations. Green belt plantations along the coastal line as scientific intervening patterns can reduce the effect of the hazard. Providing a cover through green belt sustains less damage. Forests act as a wide buffer zone against strong winds and flash floods. Without the forest, the cyclone travels freely inland. The lack of protective forest cover allows water to inundate large area and cause destructions. With the loss of the forest cover, each consecutive cyclone can penetrate further inland. Hazard mapping. Meteorological records of the wind speed of the direction give the probability of the winds in the region. Cyclones can be predicted several days in advance. The onset is extensive and often very destructive. Past record and paths can give the pattern of the occurrence for particular wind speeds. A hazard map will illustrate the area vulnerable to cyclone in any given year. It will be useful to estimate the severity of the cyclone and various damage intensity in the region. The map is prepared with data inputs of past climatological records, history of wind speed, frequency, and flooding, etc. In land use control, design so that the blast critical activities are placed in vulnerable area. Location of settlements in the flood plains is at utmost risk. Setting of key facilities must be marked in the land use. Policies should be in place to regular land use, and building codes should be enforced. In engineered structures, structures need to be built to withstand wind forces. Good site selection is also important. Majority of the buildings in coastal area are built with locally available materials and have no engineering inputs. Good construction practice should be adopted, like a cyclone windstorms in arid coastal areas. It is advised to construct houses on stilts or on earth mound. Houses can be strengthened to resist wind and flood damage. All elements holding these structures need to be properly anchored to resist the uplift or flying off of the object. For example, avoid large overhangs of roofs, and the projections should be tied down. A row of planted trees will act as a shield. It reduces the energy. Buildings should be wind and water resistant. Buildings storing food supplies must be protected against the winds and water. Protect river embankment. Communication lines should be installed underground. Provide strong halls for community shelter in vulnerable locations. Next is flood management. Torrential rains, strong wind, and strong rain leads to flooding in the cyclone affected area. There are possibilities of landslides too. Flood mitigation measures could be incorporated. Improving vegetation cover. The roots of the plants and trees keep the soil intact and prevent erosions and slow runoff to prevent or lessen flooding. The use of tree planted in rows will act as a windbreak. Coastal self-built plantations can be developed to break severe wind speeds. It minimizes devastating effects. The Orissa climate has also highlighted the need for urgent measures like shelter-belt plantations along cyclone-prone coastal areas. Species chosen for this purpose should not only be able to withstand the impact of strong cyclonic winds, but also soil erosions. So these are the numbers of risk reduction measures for cyclone. Now, what is cyclone warning system in India? In India, the low pressure and the development can be detected hours or days before it causes damages. The satellite track the movement of these cyclones based on which the people are evacuated from areas likely to be affected. This is the difficulty to predict the accuracy. Accurate landfall predictions can give only a few hours notice to threatened populations. Okay. India has one of the best cyclone warning systems in the world. The India Meteorological Department (IMD) is the nodal department for wind detections, tracking and forecasting cyclone. Cyclone tracking is done through INSAT satellite (INSAT). Cyclone warning is disseminated by several means such as satellite-based disaster warning systems, radio televisions, telephone, fax, high-priority telegram, public announcements, and bulletins in press. These warnings are disseminated to the general public, the fishing community, especially those in the sea, port authorities, commercials, aviations, and the government machinery. In observational network, cyclone in the NIO, North Indian Oceans. Basins are monitored with the help of land-based, ocean-based, and space-based observation systems, which include conventionally meteorological observations, reports from the ships, observations from ocean data piles, coastal radars, conventional and Doppler, and the national and international satellites, geostationary and polar orbiting. Okay? Like this is this type of pressures and the different types of sensor in sea level. Okay, this is tide gauge, GPS bars. Okay, and this some says conventional and Doppler. This is seismometer. Okay, to sense the earthquake and range of the earthquake. Okay, this is seismic waves. This is seismometers, and this data sends to the satellite. Satellite gives the record to the warning center. This is a warning center area. Okay, this is champ. Okay, this record sends to the champ, then after warning center. This is GPS satellite. Okay, GPS satellite communications are interconnected with each other. Okay? To facilitate quantifications of the likely impact associated with the cyclone landfall, land-based observational density will be enhanced beyond IMD's modernization plan. Observation by automatic instruments and quick fail-proof communication of the observation to forecasting centers and modern concepts. Doppler radars are used the world over to detect and monitor localized severe weather systems. Sustainability of the instruments against adverse weather conditions is essential. Adequate density of network is another factor which needs to be locked into during the process of modernizations. Modernizations, augmentations, and standardizations of the meteorological observations. Network maintained by other agencies at the center, and states will assign priority in the modernization of their network so that observations are useful and compatible. IMD will carry out modernization of its observation network with density augmentations wherever needed on a primary basis, covering the 84 cyclone prone districts in all coastal state and union territories. Central and state government agencies other than IMD dealing with the meteorological observations will assign priority to the modernizations of the meteorological and hydrological observation network in their domain in these 84 districts. First is APC, Aircraft Probing of Cyclone Facility. APC, in the absence of aircraft probing facilities, it has not been possible to obtain realistic initial safe three-dimensional descriptions of cyclone in the NIO region. Lack of south critical observations from the cyclone core environment is resulting in large drag and intensity forecast errors. The establishment of APC facilities of the cyclone core environment can significantly address this critical data gap in cyclone intensity and track forecasting. Next is UAV, Unmanned Aerial Vehicle. A high altitude unmanned aerial vehicle can provide detailed observations of the near surface, high wind environment, and area often too dangerous for manned aircraft for taking observations. The first UAV touched down after 10-hour missions into tropical storm Ophelia on 16 September 2005. The aircraft, known as an aerosol, has the potential to emerge as a cost-effective observational platform for the reconnaissance and surveillance of tropical cyclones. Considering its vast coastline, India will develop and utilize UAV capabilities for surveillance and predictions of TCs. The effort can be coordinated by the IAF and IMD or MOEs. So this is the difference of facilities like APC, UAV is observational network. Okay. So this is cyclone warning systems in India. These are the different types of chart like components of the Indian's early warning systems. Okay. This is INSAT, data communication, okay. And satellite is sending or receiving each other from the sea level to satellite and satellite to warning centers. Historic data, bathymetry, coastal topography, coastal vulnerability, numerical modeling, tsunami, storm surges. Okay. The tide gauge network, radar-based coastal monitoring stations, a network of land-based systemic stations, okay, upper ocean surface made oceans observations, and bottom pressure recorders in the tsunami-genic zone. Okay. Now, what is lightning and thunderstorm? Okay. Lightning may not seem much like a static electricity, but it's actually very similar. Both are sparks of electricity created through the attractions of opposite charges. The difference is that static electricity creates a small spark, while lightning is a huge spark of electricity. In storm clouds, tiny particles in the cloud move around picking up positive or negative energy charges, like when shows of rock. The positive charged particles stay light and rise to the top of the cloud. The negative charge particles get heavier and collect at the bottom of the cloud. As more particles become charged, they divided into opposing groups in the cloud. When the power of attraction between them gets too great, the particles discharge their energy at each other, completing a path for electricity to travel through the air. We call this flow of electricity is lightning. Okay. Now thunder. Thunder. The flash of lightning strike and resulting thunder occur at roughly the same time, but light travels at 186,000 miles in a second, almost a million times the speed of sound. Sound travels at a slower speed of 1/5 of a mile in the same time. So the flash of lightning is seen before thunder is here. By counting the seconds between the flash and the thunder and dividing by 5, you can estimate your distance from the strike in miles. But why does lightning cause thunder at the same time it strikes? Lightning causes thunder because a strike of lightning is incredibly hot. A typical bolt of lightning can immediately heat the air to between 15,000 to 16,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hotter than the surface of the sun. A lightning strike can heat the air in a fraction of a second. When air is heated that quickly, it expands violently and then contacts like an explosion that happens in the blink of an eye. It's that explosion of air that creates sound waves which we hear, and it's called thunder. When lightning strikes every close by, we hear the thunder as a loud and short bang. We hear thunder from far away as long, low rumble. Okay. Now, safety measures for public during lightning and thunderstorm. If we outside, never take shelter under a small group of trees or single trees. If far from shelter, couch preferably in a hollow. Remove metal objects from hand or body. If your hair stands off, you hear buzzings from nearby rocks or fences, move away immediately. At night, if you see a blow go around an object, it is about to be struck. Avoid being in the highest objects. Do not handle kites, fishing rods, and umbrellas or metal rods. Stay away from the metal poles, fences, etc. Do not ride bicycles or travel on an open vehicle. If water get out of immediately. If on a boat, go ashore to a shelter and be sure that mast and stays of the boat are secure. If indoor, disconnect external aerial power leads to radio, TV, computer, modem, etc. Keep clear of windows, electricity appliances, pipes, and other electric equipments, and avoid use of fixed or land telephone. Okay. So these are the different types of indoor and outdoor precautions while lightning and thunderstorms occur. Okay. So these are the safety measures for public during lightning and thunderstorm. So cyclones and lightning and thunderstorm is very dangerous situations in disasters. Okay, thank you.